Google isn't necessarily near 52-week lows, kind of at all. You can see it's at 128. The highest it's been is 191. However, I'm going to propose to you today that Google is actually pretty cheap right now. The main factor being the PE, right? We can see it's at about 23 right down here. That is really not that expensive. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's kind of where the S&P 500 has averaged historically. However, the S&P 500 right now is at about 27. This is actually their PE of 22 or just 23. It's actually lower than the 23.5 forward PE of the S&P 500. Meaning Alphabet, even if you look at every stock, is technically cheap. It's on the cheaper end. However, not only is it on the cheaper end in terms of PE, it has also outperformed the S&P 500. You can see that over the last 5 years, it's up 163%. S&P 500 is only up about 90% over that time frame. It's starting to pay a dividend now as well, right? So we can also see the forward PE, 21.5. So it is clearly a growing company as well. You can see that all the earnings projections are projected higher from last time, and they beat on all four. So we can even expect this if we're being not conservative and we're just like, oh, they have a track record of beating. We could probably expect that again as well. So Google, I like it. I like it looking forward. I mean, even if we look at the 10-year performance, it has done very well, right? Late 2014, even if we look at the first 2015, 26, right? 28, somewhere in that range. You're doing much better than the S&P 500 as well. So we may ask ourselves, why is it so cheap? I think a lot of it comes from the sentiment that Alphabet has they've been having some weird things, right? So with AI, obviously they're investing a lot in AI, but some people are worried that AI is going to replace search altogether, right? Google has basically a monopoly on search. Almost everyone uses it primarily. It's the number one search engine. It's not really close. So people are worried that, oh, if you can just pull up an app or whatever, you can do it on your iPhone, right? It's going to break the dominance of Google, and that is a factor, and you do have to factor that in. Do I think that's really going to happen? Probably not. I think Google is enough integrated into everything. YouTube, for example. AI is not going to replace YouTube, at least not for a long time, right? So, and they do, all of you are watching this video on YouTube, so that's a very large platform, and there's a lot of ad revenue from that. And also, Google is at the forefront of AI, and they're investing a lot into it so that they can compete. And whatever the development AI is, they're going to be at the forefront so they don't just get absolutely clocked in it, right? That's the plan at least. But that is somewhat why the PE is lower. I also know a couple years back they were really overstaffed, had to cut a lot of staff back and things like that, kind of in this range here when it was lower. But like I said, I think all those are fairly reasonable, but I don't think they quite should equate to where the level is, right? Because most of the Mag 7 is significantly above their PE. I think the next lowest is Meta around 25, and Meta has been on a huge run. So it makes a little bit of sense. Even then, it's just kind of crazy. Meta's gone up so much, and they're still relatively cheap. Alphabet's done well, not quite as well, but at least from the lows in 2020, they were getting absolutely clocked in 2022. But almost, I think every other Mag 7, so the 5 others are above 30. So this one is at a significant discount right now. We can see Schwab likes it. They think it's in the top 20% of stocks performing over the next year. Wide economic moat, I agree. Like you said, we're kind of worried about AI maybe diving into that, but for the most part, it looks really, really good. So yeah, I think Google is cheap. I do. I think if you want a balance between tech and you don't want those tech companies that are in the 30, 40, 50 PE range, I understand that. I think Alphabet is a really good blend. And who knows how long you're going to be able to get a Mag 7 stock at this discount to the PE, one that has still been performing pretty well, right? It's not like they've been doing bad, right? 163% over 5 years, outperforming S&P 500. That's not at all bad. So I think if you're looking for tech, if you're looking for a large company, fairly stable at a low PE, I feel like this is a relatively cheap stock to do that with, right? There's only so many like this. So I think Google will be fine. It's not my number one pick, but I think it will be a solid company for it. And I do think it deserves the label cheap at this point. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for this video. I'd appreciate if you enjoyed the video. If you like this sort of content, I do daily stock content on this channel. I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. I notice whenever anyone subscribes, the YouTube algorithm really loves it. And they're like, oh, people like this. So they've been pushing up my content whenever people subscribe. So, but anyways, if you did enjoy, I'd appreciate it if you did that. But I hope all of you enjoyed, and I'll catch all of you next time. So thanks for watching.